Welcome to Life, Lessons, and Laughter with your host, Glenn Ambrose.
Hello, welcome to Life, Lessons, and Laughter with Glenn Ambrose and special 200th episode guest, the original, the man, the myth, the legend, Ben Barber.
Hey, everybody.
Da-da-da-da!
I don't think I've ever been a special guest on this show before.
No, you were just the regular guest.
Yes.
So now you're the special guest.
How long has it been? Like 8 months, right? Like since the beginning of the year?
No, it was I think it was before that. Was I on vacation? Were you still doing a show with me when I was on vacation?
Yeah.
Here?
Yeah.
Every time?
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, so maybe it has been.
Yeah, I think it's been like 8 or 9 months.
Maybe I don't know. It blends together. I just kind of like I remember when COVID started and your business took off like a bat out of hell, and us starting to make adjustments after that sometime. And that's, yeah. So I knew it was after COVID started. It's like, this is what we'll do. We'll have like BC, AD, and AC, like after COVID. We'll have like all time blocks in human history.
I think it makes sense.
Yeah.
I think it just makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, if people don't adopt that internationally, there's seriously something wrong.
Yeah. I agree. Hi, Sandy. Sandy says Glenn and Ben.
Yes. Sandy. Sandy's been
says,
listening for a long time. Buddy
says you were just special. You were just special, Ben. Thank you, buddy.
Special Ben. We already had an Uncle Ben, so.
No, my dad was an uncle named Ben. Anyway, yeah. So no, I stopped doing as much stuff right at the beginning of the year, the end of last year, the beginning of this year, and yeah, you've been going solo for the most part since then.
Yes. Deanna, hello to you both. Ben, it's so nice to see you again. See, people missed you, Ben. We had a really good run.
Oh, for sure.
We had so much laughter, man. Holy crap.
Absolutely. And I'm not like, should I explain what happened?
Yeah. So, well, before you do, I'm going to kind of give these people a little heads up. So Ben and I did our normal pre-show meeting, and our pre-show meeting was always a couple minutes before the show started. And this time it was literally 30 seconds before we went live. So we're like, yeah, what do you want to talk about? And so what we decided was, in 30 seconds or less, was that we're going to talk about what it looks like when your life is moving forward, progression in life and stuff like that. So, it's going to be some variation of that. So we'll see how it unfolds. But so you guys know what we're talking about. That's the direction we're heading. We're heading in the direction of our lives moving forward, what that looks and feels like, maybe some pitfalls. God only knows. We'll see. We'll see what comes out. So since you guys know what we're talking about now we got the segue into Ben's world. What happened when we stopped doing the show together? around that time.
So just over a year ago, August 9th of 2020, my dad died. And thank you, Sandy. She said we love Ben. So August 9th, 2020, my dad died. And I I I don't know. I want to say I took that in stride. Like I kind of it happened. It was a year ago this week, or this past week, and it was the busiest week of my life. In addition to the fact that my dad died, and I didn't really have time to stop and think and whatever, because as Glenn said, like when COVID started, my business drastically changed, and so did my life. And So my dad died, and I didn't really have a chance to do anything and process it and like whatever, because I had created a machine for myself, and I was just a hamster in a wheel. Um, and then i- right before Thanksgiving, my mom got COVID, and she was in the hospital all of December, um, on a ventilator, and then passed away on Christmas morning. Um, and I don't know if it was right before she passed or immediately after, but I just decided that it was time to take a step back on some things. Mainly things where I was on camera. Um and mainly things where I was on camera or on microphone on the behalf of other people, like for other people as a part of other people's shows. And the reason for that was because if I was doing something for myself, and I did that intermittently in the past 9 months, but if I was doing something for myself, then I was in complete control of like what was happening, what was being talked about, whatever, whatever. But if I was doing, like, for example, an episode of Life Lessons in Laughter, and we started talking about a subject that Glenn needed to cover because it was important for the show, I wasn't necessarily going to be the best co-host for that. And it was a good opportunity. I mean, that's something that I did for myself, to give myself time to deal with my grief in a less public way, at least on my own terms. Um,
Yeah, and I think, this is an important thing to point out, and I think that we're going to be seeing this as a theme as we continue to talk, is that of what you just said. I did this for myself. That is what progression looks like in your life. Like people, like people have this backward version of what progress looks like in their life. Like, oh, I'm going to start a business and it's going to take off, and then everything's going to be all better. Or I'll be making money and then everything's going to be all better. Or whatever. We have this unconscious projection of what success looks like, or what the future looks like, or what owning your own business looks like, and what our life is going to look like. And really, you can let go of all of it because there's going to be variations. But really, what progress looks like is including the pieces where you take care of yourself, is when you do what you need to do for you. And like, if you're not doing that, you will be forced to do that. And if you are doing that, then you'll be able to continue on whatever other path that you're on. So yeah, I have a strong feeling that we're going to see this as a theme as as we're walking forward, because I think if I were to sum up everything that's happened in your life, Ben, from the day we met, it's all been around self-care.
yeah, definitely. And this past week, like I do morning pages, journaling,
Mm-hmm.
and this morning, the title of my morning page of my journal entry for today was "Being busy isn't an excuse." And I did it again, like, this week. I every year for the last 2 years at least, and hopefully every year going forward, knock on wood for the foreseeable future, um, I got this awesome gig, helping out the, um, like, local state fair, essentially, in Rhode Island, and being their social media person and being, like, the face of it, as far as creating video content and, like, it's a really fun thing, but I have to, like, live and breathe it for 7 days, and, and it's really awesome. But once again, so last year was crazy because my dad had just died and it was virtual, so it was like 100% on me. This year it was in person, so what I was doing was very peripheral to everybody else, but to me, like, I needed to make it look good because I was doing stuff that had never been done before for them, and that was like that. So I put a lot of pressure on myself, and I let my self care slip a little bit this week. I wasn't meditating, I wasn't journaling, I was walking a lot because I was working, but I wasn't going for like my morning walks that have like a meditative quality, you know?
Mm. Yeah.
So, so it was, so I'm like, my number one priority this week was go back to taking care of yourself and don't stop this time.
Yeah. It's isn't that interesting? It's like we it, another important thing. It's I've talked about this before. It's we have a tendency to push through things when things get difficult. We have or hectic or busy or whatever. We have a tendency to hold ourselves together and push through to get to the other side. And I mean, of course, sometimes that works. It's just not a good habit to be in because sometimes it doesn't. And when it doesn't, it really sucks. When you're trying to hold it together and something like gets longer, like, I mean, this is COVID was it still is a big thing with this. People are just, a lot of people are out there not changing and not looking to make adjustments in their life. They're just holding and maintaining on until things get back to normal. And it's like, it's lasting too long. If your strategy is just to hang on, you're going to run out of rope at some point. So it's to including self-care in with it and learning how to get better and better at that. There's some quote that got popular a little while ago, or a meme or something, that said, I want a life that I don't need a vacation from. And that's what we need to bring balance into our lives so we can continue moving and doing what, Ben and I are both fortunate enough to do things that we enjoy for a living. But that doesn't mean that our self-care can go out the window. It doesn't matter how much you enjoy something. I mean, as a matter of fact, that's usually more dangerous. If it's your own business and you enjoy it, watch out, because there's a gigantic probability that your self-care is going to go right out the window. I know mine did when I first started my business. It didn't go right out the window, but it went far enough out where it affected me. So yeah, finding a balance where we can take care of our lives. And it's like everything else, we have it backwards. Most of the time I'm talking about, we live our lives from the outside in, trying to get our outsides to look the way we want it, and then we'll be happy inside. And that's backwards. We have to live from the inside out. But this is also backwards, like a lot of things. And the mentality here is, I'm too busy to have self-care. And it's like, well, that's exactly when you need the self-care. If things are just kind of going normal, a little self-care is good. But when things are really getting hectic and busier, that's when we need to self-care more. There was some spiritual teacher that I heard years ago, and he said, I don't remember who it was. I was watching a lot of shows back then. And he said something about when he gets up in the morning and he looks at his schedule, like normally he meditates for and just a stillness and prayer or whatever for like an hour every morning. And when he looks at his schedule, if it's a very busy schedule, he usually does more because he knows he's going to need it because it's a very busy day, you know. So it's, yeah, we've got to flip flop that mentality and
Yeah.
just be, learn to include the self care first, and then the rest of life comes in second. As soon as things get busy, we just, the first thing we throw out is our self care. And that's the exact thing we need the most of.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, I think, you know, and that's always been an issue for me. Like you were saying, uh, anytime I would get busy and get stressed, like bad things would happen. Because I wasn't taking care of myself, and I can tell that a lot of improvements have been made, which is nice.
Big
Um,
time. I've seen a
that's
lot of
good.
improvements. We're all on this. I don't, I dropped the ball in my own life at times too. So we're all on that growing edge. But as long as we're seeing progress in it, which I certainly have with you.
Uh, I did stay very hydrated during the week. My computer doesn't show green for some reason. This is a green water bottle, not just a disgusting color. But they gave me a water. They gave me this giant water bottle, and I made sure that I stayed extremely hydrated all week, which was one good thing. And I took breaks whenever I needed it, and I got a decent amount of sleep every night. So there were
That's
like
gigantic progress right there.
yeah.
As I know how you work. When you get going, man, you can, I mean, you're like a machine. You could go forever. So the fact that you were getting good sleep every night and staying hydrated is that's some good stuff. I think it's a testament to what we're talking about.
Um, yeah, I think so too. And so something that I'm interested about in this conversation with your life moving forward is like creating what you want your life to look like, and then realizing like what the actions are that to take, and not only what the actions are to take, but like how those actions line up directly with like what you actually want to do. And the thing that like this always reminds me of is you and I had a conversation 2017. Um
Wow.
yeah, you and I had a conversation. Hi Lisa.
Hey,
Uh
Lisa.
you and I had a conversation in 2017 where about your business, right? And I asked you what you wanted to do, and uh you were like, I want this and this and this. And it was like, well, why? And it was like, because I don't want to work here. Like I don't want to put in, I don't want to like do this style of work. I want to be able to do what I want to do here. And I want to like travel and like go live on a beach somewhere. And then like you and I in that conversation together were like, well, maybe you don't need like millions of dollars to do that specific thing. Maybe like, and that was the conversation where we were like, okay, well, there's a book in here, and that book got made, and you wanted to move to Florida in a couple years, and that got done a year earlier. You wanted to travel, and you're living in the Dominican Republic now. Becoming like a mountain man, who first lived on the beach and then decided he wanted to live up in a mountain, and now has no service and terrible internet.
Hey, hey,
in a
we're on it right
in
now.
a large
Talk
that
nice about my
Alright,
internet
sorry,
here.
sorry.
We don't want to piss it off.
But, like, so you're a great example, and you're an example that I give to other people of, like, you know, defining your own success by what makes you happy and what you wanna do is great. But, like, I think, like, you have to figure out what that is, and then also, like, map your actions on how to get there. and I think that you've done a nice job of that.
Well, I don't know if I mean,
I don't think
thank,
that you really
thank
mapped your actions. I don't
yeah,
think that you
yeah.
I don't think that you mapped your actions on how to get there. I think that you just were open to it and saw the next opportunity. But even that being said, I mean, you were talking about moving in the beginning of 2019 and then moved, it was like a year out. It was like a year out before you moved to the Dominican Republic that you started. Like I didn't think, I thought it was going to be like 5 years.
Yeah, stuff tends to happen fast with me. Like it's manifestation. This is to me, this is what actual manifestation looks like, as opposed to what 90% of the courses teach. It's that's such my pet peeve, because everybody, it's everybody runs around talking and teaching about manifestation, and they have it backwards. They think that they're putting effort into creating something and making something happen, and that's not it. And the reason that I think my stuff manifests so quickly is because I don't try to do that. I don't try to make something happen. Every time I try to make something happen, it doesn't go well. It's I hit roadblocks and stuff. So yeah, I mean, the mapping out the actions, it's I'm very unattached to any outcomes. So it's, but I'm also aware of what I want too, and what I think would make me happy. So I just throw stuff out there. And like, I think, like when our conversation was done, I probably turned around and took Faith outside, or had a sandwich. Like, I mean, it wasn't this big. It was a conversation between us. And did
Yep.
it help me gain clarity? Yeah, it helped me gain clarity. And, some things maybe that I thought I wanted, it helped me see that I didn't want them. And other things that I did, I was like, yeah, I think I want that. But as soon as I settled in on, yeah, I'd like that. I think I'd like that. Then I let go of it. It was no longer in my brain. I didn't type a memo to the universe and tell the universe that I wanted. I didn't reinforce the idea every night before I went to bed. I didn't, like, it just, and then all of a sudden the circumstances came into place where it was like, hey, it's time to move to Florida. Like, Mateo wants to do his senior year there. Oh, I get to move a year early. Wonderful. I never would have thought that happened. Never. Everybody knew I wanted to move to Florida, but nobody, I mean, I never. And when Mateo said he wanted to move and do his senior year there, I was like, you do understand, I've been up here for 14 years, freezing my ass off. One more year doesn't make a difference. I don't give a crap. Like, I can do 1 year with my arms tied behind my back. It's no big deal. We don't, you're not doing this for me. No, no, no. I want to, so but those are external circumstances that I don't have any control over, that fall into place, and the Dominican Republic is very much like that. I do follow the signs, and I do have ideas on what I want, but I think it's a lot looser than what most people practice.
Yeah, that makes sense. Um, that goes, that's the Glenn that I know.
Yeah. Yeah. And it is. And of course, this is partially my personality, but I think one misconception about me is that, like, I think people think that I'm like this spiritual, laid back person all the time. You know,
Oh, ladies and
I
gentlemen,
let
he's
you,
not always.
no, no, Ben has seen me be ugly. But besides that, it's like, it's the reason that I adopt ways of doing things like that are spiritual is because I don't do well doing things other ways. Like I've said this for years, I do not white knuckle well. I don't struggle well. When I'm suffering with life, when I'm struggling against life, when it's not, and I'm not talking, I mean, no matter what life you live in, there's things that go on that you don't prefer. I'm not talking about that type of stuff. I'm talking about really trying to control outcomes and make things happen and stuff like that. When it's really difficult when I am living in a way that's not aligned with peace and spirituality. I'm really a bear, man. I am not nice to live with. I am not nice to talk to. I don't suffer well. So I don't do well when things aren't in alignment. This is why I put the effort in to really get things in alignment and live with grace and ease. It's not because I'm this laid back, spiritual, relaxed dude. It's because if I don't, I'm an asshole. I'm an asshole of the people. I'm an asshole of me. I don't like being in my own skin, So like, this is why I put in the effort to live the way I do and to have it be so important, So yeah, just, but allowing things to unfold and taking action when it's put in front of you. I'm just kind of an opportunist, I think.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
so somebody goes, yeah, why don't you come over to the DR? Like, me and my boyfriend will pick you up. Who cares if we've never met you? You seem cool. We'll pick you up. Try to make sure you rent a place in a good neighborhood. All right. And I pay attention to how I feel. It felt okay. So I was like, yeah, okay. And then I did it. Like, I didn't know that was that big of a deal until I've seen how many people don't do it. And how many people are amazed that I did do it. Like, sometimes ignorance is bliss. I didn't know. I had never traveled internationally before. I was like, yeah, all right, give this a shot. What did Lisa say? Wow, I so understand what you're saying. You've been a great teacher. I let go of outcomes
once I process them.
Well, thank you, Lisa. Yeah, it's letting, like, Ben, you know this better than anyone. Like, I see patterns, and lately one of the patterns I'm seeing is letting go of outcomes. It's non-attachment to outcomes. I can't count how many times I've said that in just the last month. It's huge right now. Everything keeps coming back to it. And things that I'll start talking about that don't sound like they have anything to do with it, that comes right back to unattachment to outcomes, non-attachment to outcomes, non-attachment to outcomes, because we think that we have to have a goal pulling us or pain kicking us for us to move. And we don't need either one of those things. All we need to do is just take a step when there is one.
Yeah,
that's all. It's a lot easier.
Absolutely. So what now?
Well, so we were talking, we talked about my version a little bit of what it looks like when as I was moving forward. So it's like, and how it kind of plays out for me. So I know, you've done a lot of work on your business in the past, and it seems from an external perspective, even though you were putting energy into expanding your business, it wasn't really expanding to a level that you wanted it to.
No, absolutely not.
Until all of a sudden this external circumstance came in, and blew the doors off.
Yeah, absolutely. I turned my light off because it was bothering my eyes.
Oh.
Um, the yeah, I mean, absolutely. So I think I think what benefited me most was planting seeds for years. So like I had been this sounds pretentious. Uh but no, like it really does. Like once I say it, it's going to sound pretentious. But like while I hadn't been growing my business in a meaningful way, all of that all that much, all that fast for years, um I was making meaningful connections by just being a good person.
Yes.
And and like so that's the part where it sounds a little pretentious. Like it was, hey Sarah.
Hey, Sarah.
um that's the part where it sounds like I'm being a little pretentious because it was just being a nice guy,
No,
right?
that's not pretentious. And I don't want you to say that again. And I don't want people to think that that's true.
Okay.
Okay.
So it was genuinely it was genuinely just being a nice guy. And this is what I mean by that. So like I can so like we started a podcast company, and we had Dave and I had been doing a production company for a really long time. And we wanted to start doing podcasts in 2014, so like 9 years into working together we started doing podcasts. 2013, 2014. And then we went to our friends who we thought should have them, like Glenn, and we were like, hey, you should start this and whatever. And that was cool. And then like once that happened, thanks Sarah. um and then and then and then once that happened, we like I got a little bit of confidence, and I like went to the local no, actually, I'm sorry. We started, remember we were doing wrestling shows, like of the guy at Subway's son. So Glenn and I know each other because of a man that we used to or owns a Subway in the town that Glenn used to be a personal trainer at. And he wanted to help me out losing weight by getting me a personal trainer. And he got me Glenn. Glenn
Well,
volunteered to
not
train.
even. He just wanted to get you a gym membership. I
He
happen to
wanted
be
me, yes,
sitting there.
that's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I just
Glenn
happen to be sitting there and going, I'll train him.
So Glenn volunteered to train me, which was super nice, and has led to all of this. So Glenn was nice to me. In return, we were like, "You need a podcast. It's going to really help your life coaching, and because you didn't want to be a personal trainer forever, you wanted to be a life coach." And we were like, "This is the perfect fit for you." So then we started doing that, but we were doing a wrestling company for that guy's kid. He was having me produce wrestling shows, and I went to the guy that ran the like fair at the beach every year, the festival at the beach every year. And I asked him if we could do a wrestling show, and he said yes, and he paid us like a small amount of money, like enough to cover the wrestlers. And it rained. It rained, and actually no, the forecast said rain. And the forecast said rain, and the guy who was a partner who was in charge of booking the wrestlers was like, he had a date to go on the next day if the show got canceled. So he called and canceled all of the wrestlers while I was doing a different show. And I freaked out. So we lost the ring, but I called every single one of those wrestlers, and to keep our promise to the guy at the beach, I paid every single one of them out of my pocket, and we went down there and they wrestled not in a wrestling ring. They just dressed up in their gimmicks and ran around the fair like carnival workers, like punching each other and like starting little fights. And everyone loved it. It was such a big hit. And that guy was like, "You are the nicest person." Like, I, because I didn't take the money from the festival because we didn't give them what they delivered. and what they wanted.
Wanted. Yeah.
And but I still paid the wrestlers, and he was like, "You're great." And I was like, "Can I do a podcast for the beach?" And he was like, "Yeah, absolutely." And then when COVID hit, he was like, "Hey, he was a town councilor. He was like, "Hey, I need to get like the lieutenant governor on our show." And I was like, "I can do that." And like, because you moved to Florida, Glenn, because you moved to Florida and we didn't want to stop doing the podcast together, like we figured out how to use Zoom like 3 years before everybody else.
Right.
And um and then because of that, so because of you being nice to me being nice to you in return, and then me being like a good person to other local people that I knew, and just having a reputation of being a good guy, when the world fell apart, I had all of the skills to help people and the altruism to want to. So so when COVID hit, yeah, I started working for the lieutenant governor and the governor, and I got to host things for like
For
parties
churches,
and
for the
churches and
state,
organizations.
yeah, state and
I mean,
local governments, and
I currently have like 19 to 25 clients at the moment. And they're like, some of them are like 11 shows a week, some of them are like 4 podcasts a month, but like some of them are all immersive, like we'll pay you a certain amount of money to come like film and bring drones and DSLRs and be a full marketing company. And so it's like it's turned into a lot. It's turned into a lot, and it happened not from like doing smart business stuff.
that's one of my biggest points. It's like, this is why I want to discuss this with you, because if everybody wants the a way for success, and I mean, of course, success is more than just money, of course, but they want to know how to start their business or be a success or whatever. And it's like, I can't count how many marketing things I looked into, attempted, and failed. I can't, like, I've done more wrong than I've done right by far in my business. And the when my story is the same story, I just have a different version of Ben's story. The things that have worked out have not been because I was a smart businessman. Although, in a lot of ways, I think that I am, but none of those skills have helped me. They have not produced the fruit. What's produced the fruit is always been putting out good, and taking opportunities when they come. Not in a way like, like I always taking opportunities when they come. People get too psychotic about that. Oh my God, it's an opportunity. It's an opportunity. It's not. No, relax. It's not. You take opportunities that are the right opportunities that work out, that you can take. You don't have to. When an opportunity, a lot of times opportunities float by and they suck, and people latch on to them because they're an opportunity. Well, is that what you want to do? Is that going to bring you joy? Well, not really, but it's an opportunity. An opportunity only knocks once. No, it doesn't. Like, you're supposed to let that one go because it sucks. And if you don't, your hands are going to be filled, and you're not going to be able to take the right one when it actually shows itself. So it's opportunity doesn't knock once. It never stops knocking. That's all it does. It's appropriate when somebody hands you something that you want to take it and say thank you. That's all. It's way easier, and when we relax, the more I relax, the more things come, you
Yeah.
know Sure, you got to keep your head on a swivel a little bit. You look around. That's just called being conscious, being awake. So when something comes, you go, oh, maybe I'll shoot an email over to this person. Like a lot of things I've had success with is because I reached out to somebody. I called them or sent them a message or an email. I've had things like that work out for me in the past. And people are like, oh my God. It's like, yeah, but I sent out 10 that nobody responded to.
Yeah.
What about those? It's like, it wasn't because I was smart enough to send an email to the right person. It was just I felt a little nudge and it takes 5 minutes. So I just did it. It's not that big of a deal. And every once in a while, one works out. And then everybody goes, Glenn, you're so lucky. Ben, you're so lucky. It's not luck. It's just moving forward and being a good person, putting out good and opening up to the good for the good to return to you.
Yeah. So now, um,
Now,
now I am in a spot though where I'm, looking to expand more and do things on purpose a little bit more. Because of the thing that we started the show talking about, which was self-care and um and thinking about what you want and what makes you happy and like what those specific things are. And for me, I don't like the business part of business. I like making stuff, I like creating stuff, I like having the conversations with people, I like doing the work. I don't like worrying about revenue and taxes and how much we charge people and all of that stuff. That's not my and payroll. Like I'm not interested in that. So
and I'm not either.
yeah,
And I don't think many people are. Well, I shouldn't say that. Many people are interested in that stuff, but I don't think many people that are starting businesses are interested in that stuff.
no, I don't either. But luckily I have a really good friend who's a nerd, um, and and really like finds all of that stuff super interesting. And it's gonna give me an opportunity to do more of the things that I like and create more of the things that I like, and then you know, uh, have him help figure out how to pay for it and how it's gonna make money and how it's gonna and to make sure that I'm not like just taking on uh for some I will say this, for someone who has done the amount of stuff that I've done in the last year and a half, I should be in a completely different place than I am right now, like theoretically, with the amount of stuff that I've done and like but I'm not, and I'm happy with that because I don't care, which is why but at some point like it's gonna burn me out
Yeah.
to do all of that. So we're shifting things, and D&B Media that you used to see on the so I'm still working with Dave. Dave and I are still best friends. He's upstairs. He says hello, Glenn, and congratulations on 200 episodes. Um,
Tell them
and
thank you.
I will. Uh, but we're he's a part of the new thing. But yeah, we're going in a slightly different direction, slightly bigger direction, and it sort of encompasses everything that I wanted to do and have wanted to do for all of these years. But as I'm like, so launch date is September 1st for that. And the closer that we get to it, the more I'm reminding myself, like, this doesn't matter if you don't take care of yourself.
This is it, man. This is every we talked about many things today and we pointed at different things and I tried to point out a few things as we went, but that's everything. Like I talked about how I did marketing stuff and it didn't work, but then I took my hands off of things and it did. And we talked about the what people call coincidences. I think, yeah, Buddy mentioned it. Coincidences that, I think most of us know that it's not coincidences. And Buddy even said, yeah, high vibrations. It's like, when this is what happens when you start acting like you love yourself. Because everything that I did in my business and everything that you've done, if you that both of our businesses, if you look underneath deeper than the surface level at the things that we did that worked, they were all based in self-love. Now maybe sometimes we get caught up in the doing of some of these things and veered off of our self-love here and there. But the initial intention was to do what we loved. That's always been your intention with your business. It's always been my intention with my business. And when I've been true to that, that's when the coincidences started falling into place. That's when things worked out. The truer I was, and the truer you've been to doing what actually brings us joy, and because we love ourselves, that's when things start falling into place. It's not because I want to start a business because I don't like working for other people. It's not self-love. So the intention underneath it, when I left after I started my business, when I left the Life Enhancement Center and went to the horse farm, it was because I wanted to have a dog. Started it all because I was home a lot. I worked from home, and I like dogs, so I wanted to have a dog. That's self-love. That's what actually started it all. But then I had to look at my business and say, well, if I move out of this space where I can do personal training and I can do these big spiritual events, how am I going to pay my bills? And it's like, well, I don't know, but I don't like doing those things. I don't want to be a personal trainer anymore. I don't want to be an event planner. Because as fun as a lot of those events were, that's what I was. I was an event planner. I don't want to be an event planner. I want to be a life coach. So I hung on to life coaching and I hung on to my podcast. And the only reason I hung on to those two things was because I asked myself one question, and that's, what do I want to do? What brings me joy? What do I enjoy doing? That was the question. And I did life coaching because I enjoyed life coaching. I kept the podcast. Nobody was listening. Nobody listened on my podcast back then. But I mean, we had, how many channels did we have it on? And we get like maybe 30 listens a month and we'd get excited.
Yeah.
And it was like that for years. And we still did it. Why? Because we enjoyed it. So when I decided to keep doing the podcast, just because I enjoyed it, not that it wasn't doing anything, and then 6 months later, it ends up taking off and going international. Why? Because I leaned into what I enjoyed and I got rid of doing what I didn't enjoy. That's always been the direction I'm leaning. That's why people say, oh, you must love moving. You move all the time. No, I don't love moving. It's just when I'm leaning in the direction of what I like and what brings me joy, and then something that seems like it would bring me joy hovers in front of my face, I can't not do it. Oh, I could live on a 7-acre horse farm and be out in nature and have a dog, or I could live on a busy street where they deliver gas at 3 o'clock in the morning during the week next door, and I get woken up. Like, geez, I don't, I can't not move towards something that brings me more joy. So
Yeah.
this is, I think, one of the biggest messages I want to get out to people is, it doesn't matter what your life looks like. It doesn't matter if you work for somebody else, if you're starting your own business. We all want to design a life that we enjoy. And we either spend too much time designing it, planning it, figuring out how we're going to do it, like and it falling apart, or trying to overcome fear, or like all these other things. And it's not about any of that stuff, man. It's like, if you work for somebody else and you don't really feel fulfilled, and you always wanted to learn how to play the guitar, and you're 65, go take guitar lessons. It's not that freaking complicated. There's no key to life. If you think that it might bring you some joy, lean into it and try it. That's all. Next. you know
Speaking of the podcast, I've been meaning to tell you this for a couple of weeks, but I haven't sent it to you in a text or anything, I don't think. So I feel like the 200th episode celebration is a good time to tell you this.
Oh my God. Oh,
What?
I'm so excited. Big breaking news on LLNL 200th episode.
So I haven't. So it might be. It probably is like a ton more than this, because I haven't checked Insight Timer in like a year and a half. But but based on what I know from Insight Timer, and your stats on like iTunes and Spotify and Libsyn and stuff,
Yeah.
you now are at 200,000 listeners.
200,000 listeners.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot of people. Who would have thought? And that's international, like who would have thought that when we were sitting there doing a podcast for years that nobody was listening to, and we'd get excited if something got like 50 listens. Oh my God, 50 people listened to that. Now we have 200,000. That's phenomenal, man.
Yeah.
That's phenomenal. 200,000. And it's just, this is, and thank you everybody. I'm seeing all the wonderful comments come in from Buddy and Sarah and Lisa. Yeah. It's 200,000. That's 200,000 people that, well, there's 190,000 that we touched in a positive way, and 10,000 I think were complete jackasses.
and about 50,
and they're not wrong.
and about 50,000 that just want to know why I sound so stuffy all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That used to be one of the big comments. Why is he stuffy?
Yeah. So you were at, like you said, no one listened for a really long time. And you were at 100,000 listeners through Insight Timer for a long time. But now you're over
over 200,000
because iTunes and Spotify and everything caught up.
So it's like, it's possible that, if I keep doing this, 'cause like I was telling somebody the other day, I never even like contemplate retirement because it sounds boring. Like I don't know how I'd feel fulfilled sitting on my ass. I mean, I'm trying to sit on my ass as much as possible now, but it's in addition to doing work. It's not an exclusion of doing work.
Right.
So so since I have no plan on retiring anytime soon, and, I'm coming out, like you had mentioned, like your business is expanding largely there, starting September 1st with a whole new venture. You guys are going to be, you're not only do you have Dave involved still, but also you're bringing in somebody else for specific reasons, so you can do more of what you enjoy, which is the creative side. And I mean, like, so you guys are going to be able to blow up there. And my business it's always something. Nothing ever sits stagnant for too long, so I'm creating a new website, which is probably done now, and then a new whole platform with an academy with group classes that I'm going to be putting out, and forming a community that where people are going to have a spot to interact and stuff with one another as well as with me. So I'm creating this. Yeah, I've got this whole platform being created that's, I mean, a lot of the work is already done actually. So I don't know when it's going to be ready, but I would imagine within the next few months.
That's crazy. I didn't know anything about any of that.
Yeah, yeah. So it's so that, I mean, let's just say by the end of the year, just to be
Yeah.
safe. So it's like, we have all this stuff going. So, with just, not to mention all the people you're going to touch with all your other projects, but you're still on the back end of helping me with this podcast, even when you're not on, and helping me with things along that. So, like, just me, we're looking at, we can easily over the next several years, could be 5 years, could be 10 years, could be 1 year, who knows, we could touch easily 1 million lives, whether
Yeah.
it's 1 year, 5 years, or 10 years. We could easily touch 1 million lives, especially with the traction we have now. So, and that's just me. Think of all the other lives you're touching with the work that you're doing too. So it's like, man, we can. And we're just a couple guys that like met in a gym in Rhode Island.
What's really awesome to me? When you signed into StreamYard today, did you see the banner up top?
No.
Okay. So
You know me, I don't pay attention to anything.
uh StreamYard is like announcing their very first uh summit, their very first streaming summit for all of their people, with Gary V. And like
Of course.
that's the headline on the
Oh,
banner on the
Jesus.
top. And it's all about, like, there's like 45 speakers or something, and he's the keynote, and it's all about like all of the important people that use StreamYard and how to use StreamYard for everything. And
And can I tell them?
yeah, you can tell them.
So, and for those of you who don't know, the reason Gary V uses StreamYard is because of Ben. Because, because Ben was watching a Gary V show that was having some problems. He reached out to his producer, made a connection, and said, "Hey, we came across this StreamYard thing. You and I were using it
Uh
for the
so not yet. No.
no,
No, so it
or
was,
you,
I hadn't used it with you yet. I had learned about it like 3 days before, and I picked it up immediately and like started using it. I think better than anyone else, honestly.
probably because you were so well versed with Zoom,
Yeah.
plus your creative mind and all that stuff. So yeah, it was like duck to water with this.
So his producer, who's a good friend of mine now, was like
Dustin,
Dustin, was
not
like,
Justin.
yes, Dustin, not Justin, who just got married, by the way, recently.
Yeah, I saw that. Congratulations to him. I put a little post on his IG.
Congratulations, Dustin. Go follow Costanza Grams on Instagram. If you like Seinfeld, that's Dustin. And Dustin was like, can you like tell me more about it? And I was like, yeah, sure. And then I brought him on StreamYard and I made an entire Tea with Gary V like setup on
Yeah, kind of
StreamYard.
like what we're
And
looking at here with mine, only with Gary V's stuff, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
It's not what they ended up using, obviously, because like they have like professional graphic designers and stuff, and I was copying the Ask Gary V logo and just like showing them what it could do.
Yeah.
And Sarah, his name is Gary Vaynerchuk, V with two E's. He's a entrepreneur and motivational speaker, although he would probably get mad if you said that he was a motivational speaker. He's talking a lot about NFTs right now. Anyway, the
Everybody is.
yeah. So um so it was really cool, and like being able to see, like people like Matthew McConaughey and stuff on StreamYard, because I suggested it to a guy because I went and reached out, was really cool, and was another one of those things that gave me the confidence to like, you know, be fine working for governors and senators and stuff and really not bat an eye at it.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's, so now the keynote speaker for StreamYard, the platform that we use for this podcast is there. He's the freaking keynote speaker because, and I mean, he's huge. Gary Vee is gigantic. And has been for quite a while now. So that somebody that big, you align them with this platform, which is, I think, pretty freaking cool. Because you
Yeah,
were
and
you were talking to me about a bunch of different things around that time, and you were like, yeah, and I'm talking with Gary Vee's producer, and I'm like, wait a minute, you were texting me, and I was like, all right, we have to have a conversation because I'm not following like this. There's so much big stuff going on. I can't keep track of. We just have to get on a phone call. So we
yeah,
get on a call and you explained everything to me and how it unfolded, and I'm like, oh my god, even that, like, I mean, that wasn't a calculated business move, but there's going to be 13 courses coming out like 3 months from now that are going to try to duplicate that. you know
yep, yep.
it's like, and you can't, because it's the intention that leads the energy, not the action.
Around that same time, I reached out to Braden, the 6-year-old that I live with. I reached out to his favorite YouTuber and asked him if he would be on my show. And like, I am a nobody compared to these people. Like, there's no reason if they like looked at my Instagram, they'd be like, "This guy has like 500 followers. Who cares about this?" And like, I had nothing impressive in my bio. I still don't think I do. And but but both of them were just genuinely like, yeah, sure. And now I'm really good friends with those people and like a bunch of other people that are really really cool. And like, it has nothing to do with like a status thing, because these aren't, they themselves are not like millionaire entrepreneurs or whatever, but like, they're
Well,
great.
Gary Vee is,
Well,
but
Gary Vee is, but I've never met him, never talked to him, and
true.
also like, that wasn't why I did it. Yes, I was a fan. Yes, but like, that's like, yes, I was a fan. Yes, but like, I've never asked for anything because of that.
Right.
Like,
And I mean,
and I've never asked, like, I have friends that work for the company and like work directly with him every day now, and like, I never ask them like for anything, because that's like, I don't need that.
no, and I mean, they've even at one point they were even looking for a spot for you to try to align and possibly even create a position for you because
Yeah,
they
that was
liked you
really
so
cool.
much. So,
Yeah,
like, this is that people, again, it's not business savvy, it's not intelligence, it's not manipulation, it's not luck, it's not any of the things that people point towards. It's it's having a big heart. Like, I think I know I told you this many years ago, and I don't remember if I was still working at the gym or if we're up at my house. I think we're up at my Life Enhancement Center. And I said, Ben, I go, you want to know the thing that I hear about you all the time is that the specific words I hear about Ben all the time is, I love that guy. Like, I don't know anybody in my 53 years on this planet that I've heard that about so often. Like, it's just, and it can be people that know him from the gym, from his personal life, from business, from like, meet him, all different people that have never met him in person. People like, and nobody says, yeah, I like Ben. Nobody says they like you. Everybody says they love you. That's like, and it's those specific words over and over and over and over. Like, I think we've even heard it tonight, didn't we? I'm going, we love Ben. See, Sandy said it right in the beginning. We love Ben. I'm telling you, I hear it all the freaking time. Of course, I
Oh,
hear other compliments too, but but that's the one I hear all the time, and and it's with good reason, and it's a testament. There used to be this, and I guess maybe we should wrap up. There used to be this thing that, this mentality that good guys finish last, and I remember years ago when I was starting my business. This guy, I sat down with a friend of mine, Josh Orlandi, who has his own plumbing business in Rhode Island now. And he did not then. He had been injured in a job. And we decided to sit down and just talk about business one day. And we went to Dunkin' Donuts, got a coffee, sat down, and we were talking. And it was fun because we just spitballed ideas. I got different perspectives and stuff like that. And I don't remember if it was that day or shortly after, but he said something. He said, "I'm really rooting for you because you're a good guy. And usually good guys finish last." And I still remember that. That was many years ago. And it was, I don't, hell, maybe there was some sort of truth to that. There isn't anymore, you know, because I'm doing well. You're doing well. Josh is doing well. He's a good guy. He's got a good plumbing business with a good reputation. Why? Because he's a good guy. you know, this is being valued now where our eyes are open. People are understanding that the rest of it doesn't really make that big of a difference. You know, it's just being a good guy and being honest, loving, truthful, and being true to yourself. It's, we have to do it with other people, of course. There's no such thing, oh, it's just business. No, it's, you are a result of your actions. So if you cheat somebody, you're a cheater. If you lie, you're a liar. I don't give a crap if it's in business or anywhere else. So when we live from the heart and we try to be good people outwardly to others, and at the same time we're true to ourselves and we try to follow our heart and follow what brings us joy, and that's an act of self-love. So if we're loving ourselves and following our own joy, that's the magic combination. All right, Ben?
amen. That is the longest episode that we've done in 200 episodes of Life Lessons and Laughter.
It
Well, all right,
is.
like 180 episodes of Life Lessons and Laughter because I wasn't on like the last 25 of them or something.
Well, whatever. That's specifics. I don't pay attention to
I
specifics.
also I also missed some here and there throughout the years, and Dave filled in
Yeah, but you didn't miss many. What is like four?
something like that.
That's
Yeah.
like, I think back of, one of my joys, of course, was being a father to Mateo. And I look back and I think there was either like 2 or 3 soccer games that I missed in his whole life. And I can't count how many he played. I mean, sometimes he'd have 3 games in one week, or more actually. Yeah, when he was on the high school team, sometimes he'd have like 5 games in a week. But like, yeah, and I only missed like 2 or 3 of them his entire life, which, like, I did something right.
That's awesome. So yeah, that's it, guys. That's my time. I'll be back sometime.
Yeah, Ben has an open invitation to pop on whenever he wants. So
Thank you. I will use that for sure. I'm going to be starting a vlog. I haven't told anybody this. I don't think I've even told like Dave this. Um,
ooh.
I'm gonna yeah, no, with the launch of the new company in September, I'm gonna like a vlog it's not like always gonna be like me holding a camera talking about like what I'm eating that day or whatever, But
Yeah, sometimes you'll be picking your nose.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, it's not
So it'll be a YouTube
variety
channel.
is the key.
Yeah, it'll be so I haven't officially do you want me to officially announce what this thing is on your show?
Sure, if you want to.
So so this is so
Ooh, I
this is
like the
the
logo.
thank you. So this is the name of the new company, and that's the 30 it's 321. That's how it's pronounced. And the name is an homage to it's a connection to my parents. And the show that I'll be doing is called 321 Go. And sometimes it'll be a vlog, sometimes it'll
I
be just
love it.
yeah, sometimes it'll be me talking to camera, sometimes it'll be a long form interview. But 321 so 321 Go launches September 1st, and don't tell anybody about the 321 media thing because no one knows that yet. So
Okay. Yeah.
everybody on this
Uh,
podcast,
yeah, be very, very quiet.
you're the first people
Tell
that just saw
everybody.
that. You're the first people that just saw that logo.
Yeah, I love it. I love the idea. I love the yeah, I mean that just feels really good, man.
So
I'm happy
thank you.
for you. So anybody that's looking for what marketing, video services, podcasts,
Yep.
like
We're
what
gonna
the hell?
we're gonna create some channels. 321 mindfulness, or 321 breathe. I haven't
I
found.
might know somebody that would be good on that.
Yeah,
321 mindfulness. There's this guy Glenn you could have a conversation with.
absolutely. So so we're gonna get other hosts. It's not all gonna be me, which is very nice. And we're gonna create things for the people that we like, and then also take on clients and do that stuff. So it's gonna be awesome. I'm taking a little bit of what I've learned from Gary Vee. I'm taking a little bit of what I've learned from like the people at Complexly and what I've learned myself for the last 16 and a half years. Oh God, I'm so old. All right. That's it. That's my time. Thanks, Glenn.
Yeah, you're not allowed to say you're old when you're on with me.
Thank you,
Yes, and
everybody. And happy.
we are noticing your comments, by the way. I know we didn't stop and comment on all of them, but we are reading every one of them, and thank you for all the kind words and the support.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's because like we talked about earlier, at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. It's all about just putting out stuff in the energy of love, So
Glenn, congratulations, my friend. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Now I can't stop saying it.
Congratulations.
Conglad
My name's Glenn.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, Glenn. Congratulations on 200 episodes. Congratulations on 200,000 listens. Congratulations, my friend. And I will see you soon.
Yes, and congratulations to you for all your success and continued success. And thank you for all you've done for me and my business. And anybody that gets involved with your magic touch, it's going to be a loving touch. So I know it's going to expand wonderfully and enhance this world. So thank you for what you're doing. Thank you for coming on and being part of this 200th. And peace out, everybody.
Looking for more? Check out over 200 episodes of Life Lessons and Laughter, or click the link in the description of this episode to connect with Glenn directly.